Howdy everyone. Welcome to Constantine. I am streaming live from the capital of the south of Russia, Rostov-on-Don, and I'm giving you another update on how it is to be living in today's Russia. My topic for today, my message for today is, what is the value of human life in Russia? And that is a very scary topic, very unpleasant thing to talk about, but I think that understanding this topic, this issue, will help you to understand Russia more. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that my message, my information today will be valuable and interesting to you. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Scary question, isn't it? When you start thinking about it, what is the value of human life? Very important though, because the value of human life varies. Yes, it does vary. I can only speak for two places that I have very extensive experience living at, and I am completely immersed in the cultures of these countries. They are Russia, where I was born and raised, and the United States, where I lived for 9 years. So I know both countries quite well, and I can compare them. And boy, was I surprised when I compared two countries for the first time. That happened in 1996 when I first arrived to the United States. I actually could not believe my eyes. I could not believe how different attitude towards human life was in the United States, and still is. But before I directly compare two countries, let me tell you about Russia. And to understand the country more, to understand it better, we need to take a few steps back and learn a little bit about Russia's history. When I talk about Russia's history, I usually go to the birth of the USSR, 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution, because before 1917, Russia was a completely different state, different country. It was a monarchy run by the Tsar, and it was completely different. The Bolsheviks, communists came. First they were called Bolsheviks, then they turned into communists. And they changed everything. They changed entire attitude towards everything, towards human life. From 1917 to 1941, a very tough period in Russian and Soviet history happened. This period was the Civil War, very violent civil war when the Bolsheviks were trying to grab power and dominate the country, and they succeeded actually quite efficiently. And then civil war ended. There was Golodomor, huge hunger. Then the Red Terror. The communists, led by Joseph Stalin himself, were murdering people left and right, executing them. They were basically exterminating their own fellow Russians, fellow comrades. That part of Russian history is still a mystery to me, but from what I understand, the value of human life in Russia, its basis, they take roots in those times of Red Terror, when people were murdered by millions. Joseph Stalin personally signed decrees to execute hundreds of thousands of people, and other communists, millions, and some people say tens of millions were exterminated. So, value of human life back in the USSR, back in those days, was not high whatsoever. I think there was no value at all. Then World War II happened, and that was a tragic time for not just for the Soviet Union, but for the entire world. For Germany, it was also tragic. For the European countries, for the United States, many people died, and value of human life was also affected by World War II. But then the Soviet Union morphed into the state that I actually witnessed, that I saw. The ideology of the state was important. The utmost important thing was the well-being of the state. Regular person was not on the top of pyramid, but on the very bottom. Very regular people, they were not that important in the USSR. The ideology was not the person, the individual is the center of the universe, but the state is the center of the universe. And the individuals are mere nuts and bolts, tiny ones, that actually serve the state. That was the big idea of the USSR. And human life, the value of human life was not very high. There is a lot of folks epos. I'm not sure if this is the right word, epos. Like anecdotes, stories, songs about that, sayings. For example, «Семеро одного не ждут». The seven never wait for the one. Meaning the seven are much more important than the one. The one is not important. Один в поле не воин. One in the open field is not the warrior. Отряд не заметил потери бойца. The group, the battalion, haven't even noticed the missing of one person. These things, even songs by popular songwriters. Муравейник живет, кто-то лапку сломал, не в счет. The anthill is alive, and one little ant broke a leg. That doesn't really matter, doesn't count. Things like that, they show what the attitude towards an individual and towards the individual life was. There was no monetary compensation for loss of life in the USSR. If an accident happened and someone would die tragically as a result of the accident, then the person who would whose actions resulted such accident or negligence would go to jail. But the punishment was usually not a serious crime. Usually a person served 3 years in prison or around 3 years. And there was no monetary compensation from the state to person's family or, the USSR, don't quote me on that, probably perhaps could have been tiny, but was not significant, if any. And that was the general attitude towards human life in the USSR. And I still remember that. I remember a tragic case happened in my school. Kid, he was a couple years older than me. He was playing in a construction site. Someone forgot to lock up the door leading to the construction site. And the kids started playing, and there was a huge pit with rebars sticking up. And one of the kids, he just fell down, and he got, poked by the rebars, and he died. the person responsible for locking the door, there was one person responsible for the safety of the construction yard. He got like 4 years in prison. That was value of a child's life. I still remember that case. I was in the 3rd grade, and it was quite a shock to me. Now, the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, and what followed was chaos. The 90s in Russia, the new country, the new laws, the new ethics, the new values. Wow. Let me tell you, it was quite some time. Value of human life in New Russia plummeted. It was not high in the USSR, but boy, it was not close to non-existent in Russia. The values of people changed a great deal, and from basically the value number one was to make money, to make a dollar. And how people were making dollar didn't really matter, okay? You're rich, you make money, you're the king, you're the hero. You don't, you're a loser, you're not worth living. That type of a general attitude. And there were so many assassinations. To get rid of a competition, a person would go and hire an assassin, and it was not a big not a big deal. It was like the news in the morning would start, local news, with a list of people who had been shot previous day. Business person this was shot in his car when he was getting out of his house. Business person this, this person. There were like tens of people killed well, I would say every week. Perhaps not every day, but every week in Rostov-on-Don. It was crazy. In Moscow, there was a dedicated news program. It was called Road Patrol. I remember it was like watching a horror movie, kind of. Those were the 90s. Was very easy to source an assassin. I remember I was reading in the newspaper the articles about that. No one really hid the information. From $1,000 to $5,000, that cost to order assassination. That was crazy. I mean, it's difficult for me to talk right now, right? It's kind of scary, but back then it was normalcy. Human life, value of human life just plummeted. It was on the bottom. 90s were the worst time in terms of value of human life in Russia. Then, modern Russia, the Russia that was born in 91 started maturing. Things started settling down. And the process started in 99. And Russia enjoyed happy years. Next 12 years were, I call them the golden years, the rich years, the happy years, the wonder years. And the value of human life started increasing. And things were actually becoming better. The killings stopped. For about 15 years, we forgot that such a thing as a assassination, ordered assassination existed. We forgot about that because those assassinations just stopped happening. Things were okay. And the value of human life rose to the point where it still was not high, but at least it was recognized. And it was a good sign. I thought, back in the teens, that Russia was on the right track. I thought Russia was growing up, so to speak, maturing. Russia was trying to join the club of developed countries. And one of the key features for me is how high is the value of human life. If it's high and rising, if it's very important, then the country is developed. It's in the club of developed countries, and vice versa. So Russia was making progress. Yet, the value of human life was not that high, although rising. Russia introduced the subject of moral compensation for loss of human life. Not huge, but still. People who lost relatives, they were compensated. Different sources, sometimes people who caused the deaths had to compensate. Sometimes state would compensate, but still compensation was not huge. I'd say in a few $1,000s, something like that. That kind of a range, in a ballpark range. Still, there was a criminal code making people who break safety procedures responsible, but still their punishments, if their actions or negligence would result death, the punishments have not been really harsh. 3, 4, sometimes 5 years in prison. That's it. Another feature of value of human life is how harsh, how strict is the murder judged. What punishment a murderer gets. I'm not going to go further into that. I'm just going to give you 2 numbers. In the United States, first-degree murder, a person who murdered another person in cold blood, gets, depending on the state, gets from life without possibility of parole to capital punishment. In Russia, first-degree murder committed in cold blood, planned, would land a person in prison from 6 to 15 years. And if it's a first criminal offense, then most likely 7, 8 years in prison. Anything else I should say? Anyway, now my personal story, how I was very surprised when I got to the United States and I could compare. I had known very, very well the price of human life, the value of human life, not the price, the value of human life. Back in Russia, in the Soviet Union, in Russia, I had grown up in the most dangerous time of the country. I knew very well what the value was. And I got to the United States, I was shocked to realize that human life was the most important thing. Everything else was spinning around human life. The most precious, the most sacred thing, human life. I was absolutely shocked. I think that in other developed countries, human life is also at the center of the universe. Great Britain, Australia, Canada, I think, because I haven't been, I don't know much about those countries, but I think in the United States, it was absolutely amazing. If something happened to a person, it wouldn't result death, but would result injury, a person would be subject to compensation. And the compensations were insane, in my eyes. Millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's just a sign of how valuable human life was there, and it still is. Was absolutely incredible. It's one of the things I liked very, very much. Coming back to Russia, back in 2004, I learned that the value of human life in Russia increased, but still, kind of a same old, because we Russians, we all were born in the USSR. We still have the USSR mentality. Many of us, to some extent, to one extent or another, okay? Lots of our values, they come from the communist past. And The value of human life definitely comes from the USSR. You cannot change things like, just flip on the switch and everything will change. You have to grow into things. And one of the things you have to grow into is understanding and valuing human life. Okay? Like I said, Russia was making progress, but, Now, the Russia that I know, that I loved very much, in my eyes, the country ended its existence on February 24th of 2022, and a new country was born, and it's been evolving right in front of our eyes. That's a different country, different story, I just want to tell you what. This is my message for today. If you don't value your life, if life of the citizens in your country is not considered that high of a value, not considered the center of the universe, not considered the most precious, the most important life, not considered the it, then you don't really care about others people's lives. You don't value them as much either. And you can pursue different goals. And in the process of pursuing, human lives can be taken. And that would not stop you from pursuing the goals. And this is my message for today. I hope you understood it. Russia's been a champion like that lately. My friends, I am going to turn on comments, and I would like to hear from you the answer for one question. Do you think that human life is the most valuable thing, most precious thing in the universe? Or you think that something else is more valuable? Would you please let me know? Thank you. I'm going to turn on the comments. Please keep this chat civil. Please think before you post something. Don't even try to troll. Please respect the moderators. They do an incredible job, and I really appreciate them showing up with me every day. So please, think before you post. The comments are on. Before we jump into the chat, I would like to tell you that tomorrow possibly there might be not a live stream because I might be in transition. Not clear yet, but please stay tuned. I see Reese Gray. I see super chat and a message. Thank you so much, Reese. Great to see you. And I also see a mosquito flying in front of me for the past 15 minutes. Reese Gray, hello from Canada, Mr. Popular. It's impossible to disregard the value of life outside of Russia without value of life inside of Russia devaluating eventually. How can Russians be reminded of the value? Reese, first of all, great to see you. Thank you. You were number one in the comments today, the champion. Thanks for the super chat. And I don't know. My message today did not have any answers, just observations. And this is one of the most amazing observation that I've had in my life. We're all the same, okay? Russians, Americans, Canadians, Europeans, absolutely same. How come is that we value our lives differently? It's just hard for me to understand. Donna, thank you so much for your support. Where human liberties cease to exist, so goes the value of human life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's that thing I love about the United States. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well-known phrase in our Declaration of Independence. That's what America is all about. It's fantastic message. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. Brianna B, I am very glad to have you back. Thank you so much for coming back. Thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry for stressing you on the super chats, and I will be more understanding. Oh, don't worry about it. Look, we are all so stressed. We're all, I don't know, I think a lot of people feel down because just troubles in Russia, not just in Russia. It's like, from what I understand, from what I see and hear from you, everywhere. Prices going up, uncertainty, economy is going down, shrinking. So no worries. Brianna, it's glad that you came back. That's all. Thanks for the super chat. We have a new sponsor. Oh, Brianna B is a returning sponsor. Okay, if you want me to notice your message, please put it in caps. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for me to read. Reese, Mommy, Tim, Lorna, Michael, Kyle, Robert, B-Man, Zdenek, Faith, Tilumbus, Airborne Snail, Blackhead, Tyke Myson, I like the name, Klaus Zeitler, Eno, Mads Lindström, Schwinn, Jimmy, IDKA, Howdy, the usual suspects, Ian, Frank in Texas, Ferrari Guy, Skipper, Just Terry, and everyone else. Welcome. Very glad to see you here. Thank you for coming back. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Kathy, hello from Michigan. Yes, life is most valuable. Without it, nothing else matters. Kathy and everyone, understand how I felt. You grow up, you live for 20 years, and you have no clue how valuable, how precious human life is, because all around you, you see the murders, the deaths, street fights, resulting deaths, stuff like that. That was my life. I mean, I saw that, I'd say weekly, not daily, but weekly. Wouldn't be a week without me getting into a fist fight, not because I was just a hooligan, but because I was defending myself. Someone would try to attack me, sometimes get my money, sometimes get the clothing, sometimes just for the heck of it. That was the wonder years, the 90s. And I saw deaths so many times. I first faced death when I was in the third grade. That kid, 2 years older than me, died in a construction pit. When they start building, when they start like earthwork, it's called in construction. It's called earthwork. They actually dig a pit and for the foundation, and then they put cement and do rebars, and that's where he died. And the same year, there was another death. Also 2 years older kid. I don't even remember, boy or girl. But anyway, there was a serial killer in my city. It was a huge, like real bad, one of the worst serial killers in the world. His last name is Chikatilo. Andrei Chikatilo, that's a very known guy. And he actually murdered one of my, not classmate, but kid from my school, and 2 years older, and I went to the funeral. I was at the third grade. So I remember that's when I first faced death. Samsa Shulman, thank you so much for becoming a sponsor. Welcome to Inside Russia. So I saw that, like, it was not a huge deal for me. It was like not a huge deal for our society. That type of thing. We're trying to survive, and people were falling left and right. And all of a sudden, I come to the United States, and bada bam, bada boom. Human life is number one value, and that changed my world. Okay, I am who I am because of different things that I learned in the United States, and that was a huge thing. Because if you value human life, you value your life, then you act accordingly, not to hurt others, and that becomes a responsible society out of respect of others' lives and out of fear for others' lives. Okay. So anyway, let's move on. Ferrari guy, you've got to see Vlad Vexler's latest video, remembering his time in the USSR in the 90s. It's so... Um, Vlad Vexler, I gotta write it down. I've heard of the name a couple times, but everyone keeps telling me, you gotta watch this guy, Vexler, right? Vlad Vexler. I will watch his video. Vlad Vexler. Okay. Yeah, 90s, let me tell you, 90s were quite something. Rostov-on-Don was probably the most dangerous place in the entire Russia. It was considered the street capital of Russia. Now it's turned around. It's totally safe, but boy. David Moyers, Parish, Florida. The more self-centered and greedy a person or nation is, the less value is placed on human life. Thank you for the super chat, and thanks for the message. Agreed. Sandy, human life and freedom. Thank you. Angie, I think the life of a good person is the most precious thing in life. Angie, I would add to that, personally, I think that life of any person, not just a good person, but any person, because I think we're all the same in front of God. Okay. But that's my opinion. There's a super chat from Emmanuel L. Thank you so much. It's very sad that Russia is not the same since the 24th of February. I have so much admiration for Russia and its people. Human life and animal life is the highest value we have. God bless. Thank you so much. God bless you too. Thank you for the support, and I agree with the message. That's nothing else I can add. Thank you. TJ certainly goes far. Well, I'm glad you understood the message, because my message was really concentrated in a couple sentences. Sometimes I don't really deliver it that clear for everyone, and I apologize, but I try. I really try. Taras Kulik, you are Ukrainian, right? $20. Hello from Buffalo, New York. Thank you for your great work. Objectivity. I have lost several relatives in this conflict. Taras, I am so very sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Please accept my condolences. I don't know what to say. BT, God thinks human life is the most important thing he created, so it must be true. Thank you. Liz, every human on this planet is miracle. Life is the most important. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nukmin Hertua, great topic. I think life in general matters, not just the human life. And I think so too. I think life in general matters. That's what makes our planet unique. Life. I see EMS paramedic Liz is here. Welcome. Long time no see. So many messages. I'm lagging behind. I'm sorry. I'm not going in order. I'm just skipping some messages. I am sorry. This is kind of a lottery because I can't cover them all. Todd, Kostya, do you think the value of life was low under the Tsar? Well, I don't really know, but I think it was higher than under the Bolsheviks. History of Imperial Russia is also very different. We had slavery until 1980, 1860, 62 or 68, something like that. Just like in the United States, it was called different. It was called крепостное право, but basically some people belonged to some people, okay, and some people had rights for other people. That, in my eyes, it's slavery, okay. So value of human life was pretty low back then, but then it grew towards the 20th century, and in the 20th century, Russia actually was not doing too bad. And then 2017 came, the communists, Bolsheviks took over, and then there was a coup and the revolution and the whole 9 yards, and the USSR was born. So, B-Man, life is priceless. Thank you so much. Tonya, hello from Ohio. Howdy, howdy. Brian Woods from Los Angeles. And I actually got the mosquito. Good. Marilyn, thank you for your message. Tyke Myson, I wish everyone shared the values. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have another Constantine in chat. Constantine Fortunis. Thank you for your love feeds. It's pretty mind-blowing that you're saying, and I'm surprised that you're still able to do the lives from within Russia without being caught yet. Constantine, well, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the streams. I'm glad you watch them. You have a great name. What can I say? I don't think that my feeds, chats, live streams are mind-blowing, really. I am merely speaking of my experiences. That's it. That's it. I'm not, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm an amateur historian. I'm basically a father and a professional, worked all my life in the corporate world. And that's where my experiences come from. But that's it. So I'm glad you like the live live streams, the chats in live streams. How I'm still able to do the live streams? The thing is, why wouldn't I be able to do them? Because I'm not saying anything that breaks Russian laws. I watch what I say. I filter my words. I bite my tongue quite often. And very often you see that I choose my words wisely. Very wisely. And I don't really see a reason why they would catch me, so to speak. You know, I'm not hiding from anyone. Thanks for another super chat from Toxic515. Thank you for continuing to bring us information. I know this hurts your heart. My wife is from Pskov, and we're struggling to stay in contact with relatives in both countries. Love from Texas. Well, first of all, thank you very much for super chat and the message. Message is more important. Super chat is also great, much needed and very appreciated. And I'm sending love to the great state of Texas, the last pillar of freedom. I've been to Texas just passing by, but you know what? I love that state. I love with all my heart because I know people who live in Texas. Wife is from Pskov. I know the feeling. I know it's difficult to stay in touch with the relatives these days, and uh, not much I can say. Just stay strong, you know. Let's hope for the better. Let's hope that tomorrow will be a better day than today. Just Terry, I was the first to like this stream. Yappy. Thank you so much, Terry. Cameron, is science teachable or is science merely what can't be taught over a span of time? I totally did not understand this question. Science is science. It's teachable. Yes, it is teachable. It's taught everywhere, and science is great. We based our lives on science. So if you want me to answer, you gotta specify the question, buddy. Citizen X, $10. If an average American would move there, what would be the biggest culture shock? Thanks for the support. And that's a very, very interesting question. What would be the biggest culture shock? Well, I can tell you, my first wife moved to Russia with me. We lived here for a couple years. She was incredibly impressed and incredibly shocked about how close knit our family was. It was nothing like her family in the United States. It was, well, people in our family were very close, very, very close. It's even hard to explain, but it's knowing that you are in a very tight circle of people who care about you and who you care about. And it's not a small circle, it's like 40 people. Okay, so she got into Rostov, she got so much attention, she was welcomed, she was treated as one of own member of the family, and she was just in shock from this kind of attitude towards her from my family. Then um, what else? She was also shocked that everything she had thought of Russia, most of things she had thought turned out to be not true, and Russia turned out completely different. I remember that was a huge deal, and she was shocked how much she liked it here. Perhaps something else, but I don't remember. I think that's probably any American who would come to Russia would be shocked about. Lars Ivar, God wishes for you and your family from Norway. Constantine, thank you so much, Lars. I appreciate it. Fantastic message. Janice, happy Sunday, everyone. Hey, Janice, welcome. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Happy Sunday, everyone. I totally forgot. This is Sunday. It's the end of Sunday for me. It's end of Sunday for me, but Sunday after all. It was not a very productive day for me today. I had an interview with a Finnish blogger, a great guy named Igor. We're gonna have a video together. Hopefully next week we will. We were talking about NATO, Finland joining NATO, and how Finland changed since February 24th. How Igor found Russia, and it's a pretty cool guy. You know, I think you're gonna like our conversation with him. So it was Pretty much it. Joe K, hello from Athens. Kind of feel that you are sanctioned too here. Oh, we are sanctioned too here. What's happening in Russia affects the entire world. Okay, that's another message I've been delivering. I've delivered many times. It's like when you throw a pebble into a pond, the waves go in different directions, and this is what happened. Russia is the center, the pebble that the earthquake happened here. The waves are coming different directions, and they go in throughout the world. Okay, and that's I'm sorry. Okay, because you are suffering too, and in Greece, I mean, what the heck did Greece do wrong that you are sanctioned and suffering, you know? Have a puppy. Is life value different in Moscow versus the rural villages? I would say that yes, it is. I would say a little different, a little higher, but not much, but little higher. I mean, Russia is one country. Moscow villages, one laws, everything same everything, you know. But Moscow is different after all. Carol Zubkas, hello from Lithuania. Howdy, Carol. Hello from North Florida. Howdy. Pyotr Dubinin recently discovered the channel. Thank you, Pyotr. Make sure that you post in English only, otherwise you're gonna be timed out. Jukes D, thank you so much for the message. Buzz, howdy. There's super chat. Christis, thank you for not fake news from Baltic states. You are the best. Keep it up. Thank you. Chris, how can I deliver fake news from the Baltic states? First of all, I'm not about fake news. Sometimes I am wrong and I make mistakes. But every time that I open my mouth, I am sincere. Okay? If I make a mistake and if I say something that misleads people or plain wrong and I understand it later, I come out and I apologize. I bring it up. Okay? There are some videos that I made in the past saying, oh, Russia would never attack Ukraine, Russia would never invade Ukraine, and so forth. I was ridiculing people who was thinking otherwise, and I am sincerely sorry for that. I did not take the videos down. I want everyone see. I want everyone understand how foolish I was, and I put my apologies there. But I'm not gonna deliver any fake news about Baltic states or from Baltic states. So keep on coming back for real news, the way I see things that are happening here in Russia. There's a $50 super chat from RW. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciated. Got here late. I hate it when life gets in the way of my big K fix. Well, thank you for very much for the support. And you know what? Big K fix. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Randolph. $6.19 per gallon in Los Angeles yesterday. Donna, that's huge. That's a lot. But is it down or is still going up? Let me know. Doesn't have to be a super chat or anything. Just type it. We have about 10 minutes left. Per Jorgensen, greetings from Jorgensen. Greetings from Denmark. Howdy. Lori M, I believe that human life is sacrosanct. Well, I don't know what sacrosanct is, but I think it's something very, very valuable, very invaluable, and I agree in this case. Douglas Cobbler, families are close and trusted when external factors are not trusted. That's true too. Douglas, good message. Thanks for the support. And this is one of the topics I have been long thinking about making a video. Families in Russia are very close because it's one of the ways to survive. Because government is not your friend usually, and you have to somehow navigate through life. And you need help others as much as you can get it. And others need your help too. So that's why the families are not just because of that, but in general, that's a huge factor as well. Thank you so much. A lot of you actually quite understand Russia quite well. I am very pleasantly surprised. It just shows once more that we are so similar. I am Bugsy. I'm watching from the Chicago. I've been following you for months now. I love your message. Hope and pray for everything gets back to normal. Normal life in Russia, USA. Normal. Thank you so much, my friend. Wonderful message. Thank you. I hope and pray as well. B-Man looks awfully similar to Bruce Langworthy in the picture. Brian Woods, Russia in 92. If you're rich, you're a hero. If not, you're a loser. Brian, I got your message, but I gotta see it with my own eyes because it's hard for me to understand this concept because the United States was completely different when I lived there. Do you appreciate how quietly I drink tea these days? I don't gulp anymore. I've been evolving in many ways. In the ways I speak, I try to control my voice, try to control the pace, try to control the words, and also try to control the gulping. Hope it's under control. Chikatilo, the Rostov Ripper. Actually, the investigator who caught Chikatilo was a friend of my mom. Well, not close friend, but she knew. She worked with him. She was an accountant doing part-time for one of the it was a really strange situation. In the 90s, police could set up companies, and she was helping doing accounting for one of the companies. And that she actually met the guy who caught Chikatilo. There's an excellent movie about him. I suggest you watch. The movie is very truthful. It's called Citizen X. Is it Donald Sutherland? He plays the general who my mom worked with. Is it Kiefer Sutherland or Donald Sutherland? Something like that. Anyway, a movie was made in the 90s, and the producers of the movie, they actually invited the guy who caught Chikatilo to, they wanted him to fly to Los Angeles and actually approve the actor who would be playing him. And I think it was Kiefer Sutherland. Anyway, big Hollywood actor. Anyway, good movie. I liked it very much. It was not shot in Rostov. It was not shot in... It was filmed in Bulgaria somehow, but it's about Rostov. Julia K. Good question. What happened to stop the murder and death problems to make things better? Living standard started rising. People started getting settling. 10 years of chaos passed and people were sick of it. Okay? People started changing. Russia started evolving to the better, improving, and the value of human life started increasing as well. People started understanding that the human life is not to be taken easily, things like that. Ted, life as is all we have, material things are temporary. You know, I totally agree with you. That's philosophical question, philosophical issue. But the thing is, we all understand it, but most of us understand too late. Good people respect the lives of others, for sure, definitely. Reese Gray, whoa, you lived in the same city as Andrei Chikatilo. Never realized what monster he was. He lived in a different city. He lived in, I think, Shakhty, which is like 40 miles from Rostov. But he traveled to Rostov frequently on daily business trips. And that's where he found his victims. Because Rostov was a huge city, 1 million city. And it was easier for him to brush off his trails, so to speak, footsteps. He murdered 3 people, not too like over the years, not too far from my home, my apartment. I lived on the very outskirts of the city. My house, my apartment block was literally one of the last ones. You would like 300 feet, and there would be like a field and a little forest, and then in the forest we would just run to play as kids when we were like 3rd or 4th grade. All the time we played there. He actually murdered 3 people in that little, stretched out line of woods, trees. It was very sad. Parents were freaking out. It was so bad. Parents actually did voluntarily patrols, taking us from school. There would be one parent, usually a couple, mom and dad of someone from our class. They would meet everyone at school and they would walk us home along with us, And I remember it was just so much tension. Parents were like, don't you ever go and play, or don't you ever leave the visibility of the apartment, Oi, it was bad. I remember the investigator's name. His last name was Burakov. And he actually caught Chikatilo. My mom knew him. She was introduced at one of the functions of cops. She was invited. She actually thanked him. She told me that she thanked him for catching Chikatilo because she said, I had a son and, you did all of us huge favor and stuff like that. And he just kind of like nodded his hands like, hey, don't even like don't talk about it. EMS paramedic. As a paramedic, I place an unbelievable value on human life. As someone who struggles every day to see another day due to an illness, I am blessed to be alive. Liz, wonderful message. Thank you so much. You didn't know you're sick so bad. Should I put you on the prayers list? Hang on. Oops, time to pray. Lorna, thank you so much. Yeah, I kind of missed it. I'm sorry. It's got carried away. 9.27 per gallon in Denmark. That's crazy. Yeah, I would use bicycle. Bob S. Lorna, yes, I am praying. My friends, I would like to invite everyone to pray as usual. If you not the first time on the live stream, you know that we all every single time finish the live streams with a prayer. Sometimes I wonder if it's the most important part of the live streams. Anyway, please join me in prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful Sunday. Thank you for giving us rest. Thank you for giving food on our tables and roofs over our heads, surrounding us with family, loved people, people who care about us, who we care about. Please give safety and health to our kids so any harm goes out of their way. Dear God, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Help everyone who's been affected in Ukraine by this tragedy. Please help all people there. The civilians, Ukrainian soldiers, Russian soldiers, everyone. Just stop the bloodshed so not one single drop of blood of everyone just shed. Please reach out to people who make decisions whether to stop or continue. Fill their hearts with love, mercy, compassion, forgiveness. Make their hearts soft so they make decision to stop the bloodshed. I'm asking you to reach out Vladimir Putin's heart and fill it with mercy, forgiveness, love, kindness, so he does make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please send angels to everyone who's in Ukraine and who is in need of help. Please help everyone. I'm asking for every single woman who's pregnant and making a decision whether to keep baby or not. Reach out to every single one and talk to them and reach out and touch their hearts and heads so every woman in that situation makes the right choice. Please help every single immigrant who is running for his life, helping families responsible for families, for himself, for kids, for wife, for parents forced to leave. Help people like that. Open hearts of other people around them so they get all necessary help. Give us, all of us, wisdom to raise our children in the way that we bring them up in a way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place and they will never get into wars with one another. And they will be full of love. Thank you very much for bringing us all together, and thank you for making this virtual community a real one. Thank you for bringing us together to pray. Please hear everyone and answer everyone's prayers who's praying right now or watching us pray, and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to mention a few people. They need help, and please, dear God, help them. They are 9 Veka, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Igor, and Bonnie, Buzz, Anne Mary, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Marlene, Sabrina, Susan, Fiona, Stephen, Ellen, Freddie, Madeline, Priscilla, Martin, Michelin, Beatty, Donald, Every day he asks for himself and for his country, the United States of America. Donald from Wisconsin, USA. Allison and Dave Moyers. I found Waldo. Um, a very good lady lost a husband, love of her life, and she's having a really hard time. I'm asking you to help her, please. Liz, EMS paramedic. Ariana, Liz Dombrell, Bruce B, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica. Minutes to Midnight, and Sandy. I would like to ask for 3 children. They need your help. They are Maverick, Sebastian, and Britzel Anders. Please help them and their families. Show your mercy, show your love, and perform miracles, please. Their families need the miracles, and the kids need miracles. And I also am asking to help everyone who's down with COVID. Thank you so much, dear God. Jesus Christ, amen. My friends, thank you so much for coming this Sunday, joining me for another daily update. They might not be a daily update tomorrow, as I might be in transition. I don't know yet. I'll keep you informed. Anyway, if I can't, I will not do it. If I can, I will certainly keep you updated on what is happening in Russia. Thank you so much. I'd like to tell you that you are absolutely awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more, and I'll see you soon. Mods, thank you so much.